I'm Howard Bragman, and thanks for joining us on this episode of Gwissues. Today, we are all lucky enough, me in particular, to hang out with my dear friend and the amazingly talented Jane Lynch. How are you, Jane?
Hello, Howard. Good morning.
Good morning to you, no matter what time this plays around the world.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we don't want to indicate what time of day it is.
No, it's perfectly
You have a clock
fine.
right behind you that says 9:10.
See, they don't know, I think the Pope just lifted off in his helicopter. So I want to get right into it. So you were, for many years, a very successful working actor in Hollywood, I think it's fair to say. You were on the series that everybody loved that nobody saw called Party Down. Right. And then Glee came along. How hard was the decision to leave Party Down and go to Glee?
Well, it wasn't an easy one because Party Down was such a happy accident of casting in that we all loved each other. And it was some of the best times of my life hanging out with those people. So it was difficult, but still, I think I missed 2 episodes. So I was moving on to a show that I knew was going to be a lot of fun. So it was an embarrassment of riches, and not that hard, but Party Down was an amazing experience.
Well, I imagine there is some difficulty when you're on the show where you love the people, you love the writing, you're proud of the work.
Yeah.
It's not easy to leave. And then Glee came along, and you went from working actor to being a star. Was that hard for you? I feel like we're sort of Midwest grounded types, and maybe it was easier for you than a lot of people.
It's funny. I rarely step outside of myself and say, "Wow, now I am here." I just always do kind of what's in front of me, and maybe that's my Midwestern upbringing. But my life definitely changed. I was recognized on the street, but I could also get a reservation at any restaurant I want. So it had its perks for sure.
So many young people come to me, and they don't say, "I want to be an actor," or "I want to do great work." They say, "I want to be famous." Yeah. I've always felt that the fame part, certainly we know fame cuts both ways. You get the good parties, you get the good reservations, but you lose some sense of privacy. Does that bother you? Because I know you're married to and have a child. Does that bother you, the loss of privacy?
Not really. Everything just becomes the new normal for me. Nothing really shocks me. And you make adjustments. You take everything a day at a time. I mean, if there are cuts both ways, and I try to look at how it's good, and it's been really fabulous.
You spent a lot of years in Chicago at Steppenwolf Theater Company and in Second City. I spent some of my formative years there too. What do what part of your acting in your life do you owe to Chicago now? When you think of what you took from Chicago, what is that exactly?
Well, the wardrobe person on Glee says, "I always know someone from Chicago because they hang up their clothes." Because we do theater, we do it for free. We usually don't have wardrobe people ironing our clothes, so if you drop your clothes on the floor, they will be there when you show up at the theater the next day. There's not all of us get to work at Steppenwolf and Second City right away. That was the last part of my Chicago experience. For the first 8 or 9 years, I worked in what we call off-loop theaters, the non-equity theaters, where you're not paid. You do it for fun and for free. And you do it as you put in your hours, as Malcolm Gladwell says in The Outliers. He says you got to put in your 10,000 hours or whatever to become really good at something. And you're at it to become good. And for the most part, we weren't thinking about being famous or becoming Hollywood movie stars. We were working because we love acting, we love theater, we love ensemble. And I think that when you carry that out to Los Angeles, it makes you I think healthier within this world. That if you don't have a strong sense of self, you can get carried away with the the fame of it all and the superficiality that can be there.
How many years ago did you move to LA, and what was the prompting for that move?
I moved here in 1992, and I was doing the real live Brady Bunch. We had done it in Chicago at the Annoyance Theater. Then we did it at one of the last shows at the Village Gate in New York for about 9 months. Then we came out here to do it at the Geffen, which was at the time the Westwood Playhouse. And the Geffen probably wouldn't have the likes of us in our show in their theater now. But we all came out here, and I went back briefly to do a play at Steppenwolf, but I've been here ever since. So it was that Real Live Brady Bunch that got me here.
And that was where you and the group of the ensemble basically did the scripts from the show, right?
Yes, we did, word for word, and we wore, you know, the tacky outfits, and we were 30 years old playing, you know, 6-year-old, 7-year-old children.
And who were you? Who was your character?
Oh, I was Carol. I was the mom. I was Florence Henderson, and Florence Henderson came to our opening. All the real Brady kids ended up coming to the show. It was a big phenomenon and a great heady time for all of us.
I remember you in The Fugitive. Was that when you were in Chicago?
Yeah, that would have been that would have been, oh my goodness. Yeah, you know what, when I did The Fugitive, I think it was 92. It was while I was doing that play at Steppenwolf, I got The Fugitive, and then I came out here again. So I actually came here twice, once in 91 and once in 93. And I came here hoping to ride the tailwind of The Fugitive.
A little of Harrison Ford's Wind Beneath Your Wings.
Beneath my wings, absolutely, yeah. And you know, I had an agent when I got here, which is unique and rare and does not happen a lot. I had an agent in Chicago who had an office here, so I had an agent right away. I know people can spend 10 years in Los Angeles and not have an agent, so I was really lucky and blessed.
How was it with Harrison Ford? Was that fun?
He was cranky, and he was a perfectionist, and he, for some reason, although he was not nice to a lot of people, he liked me. And I think that I was innocent. I was an innocent. I was just there to do my work, and I was a local girl, and he really kind of propped me up and made me feel really good. And Harrison never liked the script. He always wanted to rewrite, and so he took me into his trailer with him, and we rewrote the scene so that it was simpler and made sense. And you know, that was a real kind of cool thing, because he wasn't very happy on set.
You've done a lot of movies with Christopher Guest, my favorite being Best in Show and Mighty Wind and such. Are you going to do any more projects with Christopher if they come along?
If they come along in a New York minute, I would do it. I know he's doing a show on HBO now with Jim Piddock, who's the British guy who's also in our little unofficial Christopher Guest ensemble. And I think it's called Family Tree. I'm not sure, but it's for HBO. So he's doing that now, and I know some of the old gang is going to be on it. But if he ever does another movie, I hope he'll ask me, because I will say yes immediately.
Okay, and I want to talk about your two new big projects.
Yeah.
Number one, you have another TV show that you're hosting this summer, right? Can you tell me about that?
Sure. Well, you know, Sean Hayes is a friend, and he's a great guy, and he's over the years had these game nights at his house, and they're always so much fun. And he loves them, and he's just hilarious at them. He's kind of the host of his own game shows, his own game nights at his house. And he pitched it to NBC as a show where we shoot it in a house with all his celebrity friends, plus some civilians, some normal people. And he asked me to host it, and Fox was kind enough to allow me to go over to NBC to do another show, which is a pretty amazing thing, so I'm in debt to them. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're doing 8, and we're going to start doing them very soon. I think they probably won't come out till the fall, though.
But that's I heard maybe a summer series to try.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, you probably know better than me. You know, I think originally you're probably right, because that's what it was originally. Yes, probably a summer series.
And for those who don't know, Sean Hayes has become a very successful TV producer with Hot in Cleveland. I think he's got a couple shows on now. And
Grimm is his show, the Grimm Fairy Tale show. Yeah, he's doing really well.
Great. And you're doing Broadway. Is this a first doing Broadway?
This is. You know, I did Nora Ephron's Love, Loss, and What I Wore a couple of years ago, and that was, you know, a reading where you're sitting on your butt the whole time, you know, reading from a script. I'm playing Miss Hannigan in Annie, taking over for Katie Finnernan, and huge shoes to fill. She's an amazing, amazing actress. And ironically, I took over for her on Love, Loss, and What I Wore, too, so I'm kind of following Katie Finnernan around Broadway. Yeah, so I'm starting in mid-May. May 14th, I think, is my opening night. And it'll go through July, and I'm scared. It's like jumping off a cliff, and I'm also exhilarated. I haven't felt this way in a long time about, you know, doing some work that actually kind of terrifies me and also excites me at the same time. So
how many songs do you have?
There are 2 songs and 2 reprises.
And what's the terrifying part? You've done theater for years. Just that you haven't done it
first of all, there's 16 bars of tap. There's some movement. It's more movement than dancing, and I'm not a great dancer, but it's, you know, singing, and I've never done a musical, and I mean, I love to sing. I think I'm fully capable of it, but that doesn't stop me from going, you know.
I think a little fear is probably healthy in an
actor. I kind of count on it, Howard. I really do. It fills me with that adrenaline that I have over the years figured out how to channel into something good and to keep me really present as opposed to jumping ahead to the end. Nothing like a good dose of, you know, fear and your spine going boink, and you are ready for anything.
Well, and it's so different from TV where it's like, let's try another take. It's like, honey, you got your take.
Right, and you know, you have to do it over and over and over again. It's 8 shows a week. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, and I'm looking forward to it.
We're coming off of the Academy Awards, and you were fortunate enough to host the Emmys one year. I think only the second female ever to be the solo host of the Emmys. Do you look at hosting award shows differently now than you have hosted yourself? Are you more sympathetic or are you more critical?
Oh, no, I'm more sympathetic. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get what the job is now, and you know, it's to pop in and out and do hopefully funny things that land. But the whole point of it is to keep the show going and kind of you set the tone for the spirit of the thing. And you know, after the Emmys, if someone asked me, and I was asked actually, would you do it again? I said no. And now I'm like, yes, I'd do it again. And I kind of get what it is now. I wouldn't be so afraid.
How'd you think Sean MacFarlane was at the Oscars?
Oh, I thought Seth did great. He was
Sean, yes.
Yeah, that same kind of name. Yeah, Seth was wonderful. He, I think one of the things, you know, because people kind of got down on him because his stuff is dark and it's racy, and I love it. It's my kind of humor. He's always made me laugh. I think America doesn't know him well enough to, you know, like when Jimmy Fallon hosts, we know him. Even David Letterman, we know him. We have an affection for him right away. I think much of America just doesn't know him enough to let him get away with that stuff. But I know him, and I love him, and I thought he was great. I loved the boob song. I loved Charlize Theron dancing with Tatum Channing. I loved the dancing in the beginning with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the Harry Potter guy. What's his name? Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel, yeah. There were some amazing moments, certainly. A lot of women really didn't like the boob song and some of Seth's humor, but you got to know Seth, I think. I think
you do, and that's why I forgive it. But I completely understand if you don't know him, and there's a guy one of the first things out of the chute that we talk about in the Academy Awards is how many breasts he's seen. Yeah, I can imagine why that would turn a lot of people off.
When they cut to the women in the audience who were in the song, they didn't look happy to me.
I thought that was staged.
Those cold, icy stares did not feel that staged to me, but maybe they were.
Maybe I'm in such a forgiving mood and wanting to laugh that I thought, oh, everybody's in on the joke.
Listen, I love you. I thank you for joining us today. And you're now officially the hardest working woman in Hollywood. So
I love it.
Keep going. And, you know, at the end of the summer, take a couple weeks off before you start up with Glee again.
I will. Thank you, Howard.
Jane Lynch.